Okay, first things first, don't mind the mess. Got some cleaning to do, but today we got something pretty cool. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. Had to carry this thing up a flight of stairs. This is the Gemmy animated Santa and Reindeer 3-piece band. If you kept up with the channel for a while, I did used to have one of these. It fried, or it had the problem where the board would shut off. I could never fix it. I sent it to VDC Tech guy. And obviously, he didn't fix it. He just actually made it worse. He fried the dancing on it, so I was never actually able to reassemble it, and it ended up getting scrapped. So I ordered one of these guys from Antique Ancestry, I think his name is. This has been like over a month in the making. I ordered it on Mercari initially for parts. It comes with the 2 reindeer, the Santa, and a penguin. An extra penguin, and this is my best looking reindeer that I had. So these are the only 2 side characters I have functioning right now. My goal in the end is to have a set of working reindeer and a set of working penguins, and then I'll, I guess, sell the extra character off or something. Or give it to a friend who needs it or something. I ordered it on Mercari, and he had a problem getting the shipping label opened. So I had to wait for my money to get refunded. I had to purchase it on eBay. It took another couple days to get that shipped because it was right at Christmas time when I ordered it. It was either a week or 2 weeks or so. The thing is finally in my possession. I got this thing for around $75 plus maybe $30 shipping. Somewhere around there. On eBay, it was actually cheaper than it was on Mercari. I didn't pay anywhere. I think I paid like $117 total for this, which is a steal for considering what's in here. See his head in there. Okay. Let's not take out of the way. Ooh. All right. So here's what we got to deal with. Got Santa himself, who will probably need a bit of a cleaning, which I expected all of them to. We got a reindeer. Oh, Lord. I don't want to touch that. That base is disgusting. I can feel it. It's covered in dirt. Dear Lord, that's really bad. I don't like that one bit, but it's okay. It is what it is. Oh, he's not snapped. So good. I thought he was going to be snapped. His arm might be. That base is also disgusting. But this was the best looking reindeer out of the set. And then here is Santa himself. Yeah, that arm is snapped off. It's not in terrible shape compared to what I was expecting at the microphone this time. Last time I ordered one of these, it didn't have the mic, so I'm pretty happy with that. The microphone itself needs some cleaning too. And it also needs to be tightened. Actually, wait a minute. It kind of slides on this end, but this is snapped. Because you can see, this doesn't even move. So I'm gonna have to figure out what's up with that. He is so dusty, oh my Lord. We're gonna test out Santa first, only, and then we'll do the other guys. Let's do the first test. Hey, yeah! Jingle bells, jingle bells, a jingle all the way. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse. Mouth works. Gear's probably split though. This doesn't work. Obviously. That's a split gear. Yeah, it's a split gear. This, I don't know what this is. Yeah, we'll get that done. But the penguin, dear Lord, man. That's so bad. This reindeer looks kind of okay. I'm not using them yet. I'm gonna use my known working side characters. How these two work. He works good. This is reversed. Yeah, that's reversed. I'm having a problem with this one where... Okay, then. I'm having a problem with this one where his fabric really likes to get stuck in the hip swinging mech, which this wasn't happening for a little bit, and now it's happening again, so that's terrific. Let's pull his fabric down a little bit and hope it doesn't happen again. Whoops. It happened again. I guess while we're here, I can test the red reindeer, being that it's in the best condition of all the side characters that this came with. Come on. Buttons touchy. Split gear in there. And a snap on. Motor's stuck. He stopped dancing now. It is. Okay, so there's a wire off of him. And a bad belt, so I'm gonna have to take it out of one of these. The mouth works fine, it just needs to be reversed. Good Lord, I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with the Santa. So I'm gonna start on this and I'll document it as I go along. I'm not using that because of how yellowed the base is. This penguin's probably gonna keep the base. His base is actually probably gonna have to just stay like it is, even though it's kind of yellowed, but yeah, the Santa is probably going to be priority number one. I need to get all of his fabric off and tossed in the wash immediately. Yeah, we're going to get started here, and I'll give you guys updates as we go. You can see this is snapped pretty badly. You can see this is what's going on with this. I'm sure the bolt, which is gone, I'm sure it's probably in the feet somewhere, I would think. Oh no, it's right there. The nut is missing. Just like the polar bear one that I had that same issue. Okay, here's what the inside of the feet look like. Okay. It's nothing terrible, but that sensor... Oh no, the sensor is in the foot. I'm retarded. I didn't even notice that. But, yeah, this is going to have to really come apart for some deep cleaning. It's a little bit worse than I thought in there. I mean, most of it was preserved. Like in here, this looks all right. Just needs a little bit of dusting off. But, yeah, that mech is totally loose. And we can actually see, I'm sure, that gear in there is probably split. But I don't know, that pulley's not really moving. Oh wait, yes it is. I think. Yeah. I think it's moving forward more than it needs to, so that gear in there is split. Hopefully I can find a spare, because I never really I think I got lucky with the polar bear and I had one spare of that gear. Because it's like a 13-tooth gear or something, so I might have one, but if not, then I'll figure something out. Okay, I'm going to turn the light on a little bit, but this is as far as we've got. And I've noticed something that's great about this board. It doesn't have that stupid self-recovery fuse that the other ones do, the polar bear ones, and that's why those polar bear ones fry out over time. This one doesn't shut off, and it doesn't have that fuse, which is amazing. I'm so glad it doesn't have that. But it actually honestly makes me wonder whether or not I could have just put a little jumper thing right there on my old trio band board, which is over here. It's long dead now, but this is the problem that all of these keep having, is this right here. That's why 90% of the polar bear ones now don't work, because they have that shutting off problem, because they've got that stupid fuse in there. And these Santa ones, these other Santa ones, they don't seem to have that. So that's why they last longer, it looks like. Which is great. But you can see what we're dealing with. We got the arm, which is in 4 or 5 different pieces. This arm, obviously, I just unscrewed it. The dancing isn't bad. I'm gonna look and see what I can do about this motor, because a lot of the times these motors are too slow for my liking. So I'll try to clean it, or like see what the issue is with it. If it moves too slow, then I'll figure it out. I'll probably just end up replacing it, but because I like it when they move like quick back and forth. It looks better to me, so that's what I did with my polar bear. I replaced the motor, so we'll see. I might end up doing that in here, but I'm not worried about the mechanics right now. I want to get the cosmetics washed first. I got to get this head apart, and while these are washing, I'll work on the mechanical stuff, and I'll clean this base up, because you can see that's pretty bad. Okay, I was able to fix the posing with a little piece that I found. It's not perfect, it's not like symmetrical, but I really could care less. It works fine, it does its job, that's all I care about. So, as long as this doesn't crack any worse, because you can see there's a crack right there, hopefully that's not that big a deal. I gotta replace the gear in this arm anyway, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work with this mouth. I'll probably replace that gear, even though it's probably fine. And then I gotta fix that over there. The base is cleaned to the best of my ability. The shoes are cleaned. These aren't plugged in, these are for the cables. And this sensor part isn't plugged in, but he's somewhat put together for right now. The mic is actually gluing. I glued this in here. Actually, that's probably ready. I didn't want to glue the snapped piece on. I just reversed it, so this piece can screw into the base, and then the top is just glued to the thing. Because when, honestly, am I ever going to take that off? And it swings pretty good. Everything's mechanically fixed on it.
Well, the night before Christmas, they went all through the house. Not a creature was stirring. You were a mouse. Well, down in the home by the chimney was care. Yeah, home to St. Nicholas. Who would be there? The children weren't there, so now stuck in their beds. Well, fishes are super.
It moves faster than I thought it would, so
And Mama in her trenches.
I'm pretty happy with it.
I just settled down for a long winter nap. Without a long narrow road to the I sprang from my bed to see what was
That head is like weird.
and I wonder if I should appear with a miniature sleigh and a tiny reindeer. Oh, yeah.
It's not done yet. There's still more I want to do to it. before. I got it fixed. This is the one from the lot. I gotta replace this gear. I don't think I'm gonna worry about the dancing until tomorrow though. It's trying to turn. There's still more to be done though. Alright, what is going on, you guys? It's Blake here, and this is a review I've been waiting to make all damn day. This is gonna be a review of the Gemmy animated, lifelike animated 3-piece band. And let me just tell you, I am exhausted. This thing has taken me hours. It's taken me, actually no, it's taken me about 2 days to get in the state that you see it in. And obviously you guys have followed along with the restoration because it's probably going to be a part of the review. But basically this thing's been a nightmare. The bases on the side characters were dirty, and as you guys know, which I will be demonstrating them in this video, this set actually did come with the penguins as well. So I have the spinning base penguins and the spinning base reindeer that go with the Santa. Now, this is actually the reindeer that came with the set. And as you can see, there have been many parts robbed from it to help fix these ones here. The blue reindeer that's currently plugged into the Santa, that was actually mine. Because I had, if you guys have been keeping up with the channel, like I said before, in the unboxing, you guys will know that I had a polar bear with the penguins, and I actually found these reindeer. Aside from that one is the one that came with the set. My old reindeer was turned back into a penguin, but the 2 penguins that I had, they worked obviously, but the polar bear was fried, or it had that problem where it would shut off intermediately during the song. And obviously the problem with that was the self-recovery fuse, which I replaced multiple times on multiple occasions, and it didn't make a difference. So I ended up sending it to the board, to VDC Tech guy, just for him to send it back in worse condition than it was when I sent it. So that was great. I just decided, screw it, the board's already out. I'm just gonna scrap the thing for parts and try to find a new one, which I did, as you can see. Now, the Santa version, it does do that thing where it slows down and kind of acts like it might shut off, but it doesn't actually shut off. The self-recovery fuse that was on the polar bear board doesn't actually exist on this board. The board for this doesn't have it. It has a jumper piece of metal that's jumpered out between the 2 connections, and if it was that simple if it would have been that simple to fix the polar bear beforehand, I swear, like, I'm gonna be mad because I would have kept the polar bear had I figured that out earlier, and I would have had both sets. But for now, I've only got the Santa, which I really don't mind. I like the Santa anyway. It's more vibrant. Over time, I actually noticed the polar bear was starting to get kind of bland to me. Like, it was just a whole lot of black, white, and red. Which, that's not terrible, but the Santa with the reindeer especially has a whole lot more coloration to it. And I actually really, really like this one, possibly more than the polar bear set. The polar bear was definitely cool, but after having this guy, I definitely really like him as well. And as you can see, if you saw in the unboxing, it was shipped in its original box without a box around it. That's why there's a fragile label strapped to the front of the box, but I can't really remove that without leaving sticker residue behind, so I just decided to leave it. It sucks that it has to be on the front because, you know, that's the part that I wanted the most for the review. It has this basically the same thing on all sides, but I mean, some of them are sideways. The best ones are sideways, so yeah, it sucks. But I guess we'll get to the box before the repairs. As you can see, it says lifelike animated 3-piece band, entertain with a holiday music show, Santa and the Jolly Jinglers. That's the name, and I had no idea that that was the name actually beforehand, so that's definitely interesting. But you see it says 36 inches tall or 3 feet tall. Entertain with a well, I just read that. Entertain with a holiday music show. Reindeer spin in a full circle. Santa dances and swings his microphone to the music. Collapses for easy storage. The mouth moves on both reindeer and Santa. Obviously, Santa dances and swings the microphone, and both reindeer spin to the music. And the reindeer are actually 21 inches tall, which that's actually good to know. I didn't know the exact height because I never really paid attention to the box beforehand. You can see it sings 4 songs: Jingle Bells, Jolly Old St. Nicholas, Deck the Halls, and 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And I guess I'll get in the shot here for a second. Hopefully it doesn't really see me too much because I'm a little bit of a mess. I've been working on this thing all day. But you can see it's basically the same both ways around. Oh, this is different. Okay, let me read what this has to say. Actually, no, it's basically the same, just with more picture detail, and it says the year at the bottom, 2005, I think it said. It's kind of hard for me to read that, but you can see the box is kind of beat up. It's not in perfect shape, but definitely better than I would have expected because it wasn't actually listed with the box, so it's a nice addition. Oh, and speaking of that, yes, I did get this from Antique Ancestry on Mercari, and he's on YouTube and Instagram if you guys want to check him out. Thanks a lot, man, for selling me this, because I've been looking for another one of these for a long time. But that's all I really have to say about the box, so I'm going to stop the camera for a second. I'm going to move the box out of the way, and then get the band front and center. Alright, here it is. It's actually on sensor, so I gotta be very careful about my motions and my sounds, because it's sensitive to sound and motion. But I guess I'll talk a little bit about the repairs that this needed. Funny enough, the reindeer over here that was in perfect shape before the thing arrived decided to really fall apart on me as I was using it with this guy. He was in, like I said, he was in perfect shape beforehand, and he just decided to really fall apart electronically. His entire cable is actually, or the back of it, like right where it comes out of the base. I'll get a close-up on them here in a little bit, and you'll be able to see it. There's actually black Gorilla Tape around, as cleanly as I could, you know, put around that, which I don't mind it. I mean, as long as you can't see it. But I actually had to cut the cable open just a few minutes ago because the dancing and the spinning wire decided to tear off from inside the cable. Now, funny thing is, sitting next to me on this table, I've actually got an example of this cable. This right here. This came from the penguin, one of the penguins. This cable was actually screwed up worse. It was ripped inside like maybe 5 spots or something like that. You'd pull on it in multiple different places and the penguin would start dancing, it would start spinning, its mouth would start moving. Like, there was so many different tears in that cable. So obviously, you know where I got the working cable from. This reindeer will just be parts, or a good source of parts for a little while. But yeah, once I got the cable situation figured out, well, that was actually the last thing I did. His mouth was reversed, the wires were reversed, so I had to go in the base and switch them out. And to be honest, I don't really think it had that many more issues other than that. I mean, it fully worked, like I said, like all the gears have been replaced. And actually, I did replace the belt in the spinning again because it was having a couple issues with squeaking. So I went in there and replaced that belt, and it's definitely a lot better now. It's not perfect, but it's way better than it was. Now, his new brother over here had a couple issues. He was really dirty when he showed up, as was the rest of the band. They were all really disgustingly dirty, because I'm sure they'd been sitting in a garage for a little while, but that's what it looked like anyway. You can actually see his base is a little bit yellowed, but it's not bad. It's not enough for me to care. But it was actually covered in dirt and grime, that base was. The gear was also split in the turning, and the gear was split in the body, and his arm was snapped. Both arms have actually snapped. One of them snapped on the way transporting it over here to my mom's house, because I've started the repair at my dad's. That's why the setting's different. But there wasn't a whole lot of room over there, so I took it over here to finish it. But the arm had actually snapped in him. And in the repair clips, you guys can see it actually was working. Like, he was working really well, and obviously he is now, but, you know, it really sucked that I had to go back in there and fix the arm again, which obviously you guys know. I just showed it multiple times where I got that spare arm piece from. I was actually lucky, because this blue reindeer had both the arm pieces that I needed. And I actually had spares from the old mechanisms I had, because like I said, my penguins were scrapped for a while. I only had 2 working mechanisms in the end. Because the reindeer I found at the thrift store, which is where this one came from, and the skin to the red one is in my closet in there somewhere. But yeah, like I said, I turned that one back into a penguin. But the cables were actually spliced off and the spinning mechanisms were missing when I found them at the thrift store, and I was like, wow, okay. I never expected that, but they were only like $2.50 a piece, or $2.50 a piece, so it sucks that the Santa wasn't there. But I just decided to pick them up, and I actually had those working with my polar bear for a while. But obviously you know how that went. Polar bear fried, and it's a whole thing. So I kept them as reindeer until I got this guy, and then I actually decided to turn one back into a penguin because this one was already coming with 2 reindeer. So I just kept the red reindeer from the set that arrived, kept my blue reindeer, kept one of my penguins, and then kept the penguin that came with the set. So I'd have a set of working penguins and a set of working reindeer. But yeah, that was really the only mechanical issues with the reindeer. This one didn't really have any issues, and then that one, or other than electronically later on, and then the other one had a bunch of split gears, and that was basically it. And a pretty thorough cleaning on that base too, and it worked great after that. I mean, the base actually, it might do it here. It takes a minute, like literally it takes like a microsecond to get spinning, because I'm pretty sure the motor might be locked up a little bit, which I
didn't notice beforehand. I don't know if it just started doing that, or I don't know what the deal with that is, but it starts going as soon as you play it. So, I mean, it really isn't that big of a deal. It's not enough for me to go in there and loosen the motor up, because it works fine. It just takes maybe half a second or so to start spinning. But when it comes to, I'll get to the penguins once I plug them in. But when it comes to Santa himself, I did most of the repair footage on him. As you guys know, his suit was really dirty, and I had to wash it, and his head was dirty. Everything on him was dirty. His base was dirty. His feet were dirty. So I cleaned everything up. I completely stripped him down to bare bones and cleaned everything. And he looks great now. I mean, he couldn't look better, honestly. And you guys might be noticing something too. His actual cheek blush is back. I actually used an airbrush for that. I didn't use a colored pencil like a lot of people told me to do. I used an airbrush, and I think it came out really good. It looks really vibrant, and I did it with the other two penguins too, because that's how they are in the stock photo. The reindeer, I didn't do it to them because they don't have cheek blush in the stock photo or on the box, so I just decided to leave them as they are. But the Santa had a split gear. I think actually it might have been splitting. It wasn't totally split, but I went ahead and replaced it anyway. And his mouth, a split gear in the dancing, which that took forever because it was like a 13-tooth gear like my old polar bear had. And I wish I'd kept a dancing mat, because I had like two or three spares with that same gear in it, and they all got used in other things or scrapped for parts, and the gears are missing now. So I had to find a just random gear sitting around with that amount of teeth on the bottom, cut around the perimeter of, or like the lower perimeter of that gear, and fit it on the shaft, and it actually worked, surprisingly. There was a lot of troubleshooting to get it to work, but it was all I had, so I mean, I ran with it, and I mean, here we are. It works just fine. And obviously he had a split gear in the microphone arm, which you kind of can move it. A lot of the times you can't actually move it because it was an 8-tooth gear, and I put a 9-tooth gear in there because I thought, you know, that'd be perfectly fine. And it is, but you can't really move it by hand too well anymore. So I really don't care about that as long as it does work. And when you can move it, because it actually like locks itself in place almost when it moves back and forth completely. When you stop it like in the middle of its activation, you can move the arm back and forth, and it does move fine. So I really don't know what's up with that, but I mean, it works, so that's all I really care about. And, you know, after all was said and done, I reassembled him. I actually had to wash and dry him twice, because the first time I did it at my dad's and the dryer was broken, so it didn't really get dry the way I wanted it to, so I went and washed it again, and it came out great this time. And I brushed out the fur on his suit, and his beard a little bit too, actually, and it looks so good, guys. Like, honestly, it catches it on camera pretty well, but I think it looks better in person. But I mean, really, that's all I gotta say about it. There's not much more to it other than that. So I guess without further ado, we'll demonstrate it for you. probably noticing too, let me spin around. You saw that or heard that? I wanted to be quiet just so you could hear it. I'm not sure if it caught it, but you could actually hear the reindeer stop trying to spin like long after they'd already fully finished rotating. That is a programming error that I have no idea why it's there, but that was actually like the main cause of the shutting off. You'll notice whenever they get done spinning during the activation, either one of the reindeer, it actually will do that thing where it slows down, and eventually on the polar bear that actually caused it to shut off. Like the fuse would fail over time because of that programming error, which really sucked. I have no idea why they did that, but I mean, that's Gemmy for you. And you also notice how much faster this reindeer here is than that one over there, which I really don't care too much about. I mean, I like it fast. I do kind of wish it danced as smooth as the other one, but you know, I mean, I think it's kind of funny how quick it like moves around and like rocks on the base and stuff. So I mean, I really don't care that much. But I guess we'll get to the next couple activations, and then I'll show the penguins with it.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse, one-horse, open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse, open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse, one-horse, open sleigh. Now jingle bells, jingle bells, well, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse, open sleigh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I guess, to be honest, what I could do is I could stop the recording real quick and plug the penguins in for the last 2 songs. I was actually thinking about doing that. But before I do that, one other thing I forgot to mention is that the microphone, which you guys saw in the unboxing, was actually snapped from the base. It's fixed now. What I ended up doing was I took the end that was originally screwed to the base, I took that piece out and I actually flipped it. I flipped the pole around, so you can screw in the end that still has the screw part to the base, and the top half of the mic is just glued on. Like, it's just glued, the pole is just glued to the inside, so it doesn't actually come off anymore, which is fine, because if I glued that piece, it probably would have broke off again anyway. So I don't ever plan on taking that top part off, so I really could care less. It works fine, it swings fine, so that's all I really care about. So I'll go ahead and get the penguins plugged in, and I'll show you guys these last couple activations. Alright, and here are the penguins, and they actually look really good on camera. I wasn't expecting that. But you can see I did the same thing with the Santa, or with these that I did with the Santa, where I gave them the cheek blush with the airbrush, and they came out great. This one, obviously, over here, like I said, this one is mine. This is the one that I turned, it was once a reindeer, and I turned it back into a penguin, because the set was coming with the extra penguin, which is that one over there. That actually has the this reindeer behind me, the blue scrapped one. It has its cord, because like I said, the original cord was really screwed up. That penguin by far was the most messed up side character, and I'll get to that. But first I want to talk about my penguin. Obviously, switching it back to a reindeer, this thing was scrapped so bad, like the internal lining that holds the stuffing in was ripped to shreds. So some of it was still usable, some of it wasn't. So I stuffed the thing to the best of my ability, and it looks really good. But and I did all the mechanical repairs it needed. It didn't need much, really. It just needed a repaired arm, I think, and maybe something to do with the mouth. I think I had to replace, obviously I had to replace the pieces in the mouth with the original beak parts from the original penguin because it didn't have them. It had reindeer parts in it, so I didn't want to leave it like that. It worked either way, but it would make me feel better, honestly, that it had the original parts in it. So I put those pieces in there. And obviously the scarf actually does kind of look a little bit, it's not tied quite right. It's not sewn like the other one is, but that one didn't have too many issues, like I said. But it did have one problem where, well, obviously I actually broke the lever in the video, the unboxing video, trying to fix this issue. It actually happened on camera where the stuffing, because the inner lining was so messed up, it actually got wrapped up in the spinning knob, and it caused it to stop dancing. So it ended up being me having to open it up and replace the lever because I snapped the lever clean in half. Which that was pretty easy. And then I actually, I fixed it. I pulled all the stuffing out of the spinning knob, got it to dance again, and I actually put a piece of fabric. I glued it to the top part of the body shell, to the leg, and then like in the crotch area, like to just basically everywhere to cover up the spinning knob, and it worked great. It hasn't gotten caught since, so I'm very happy with that. But as for this other penguin, he had a snapped arm, a locked motor in the mouth, I think the dancing gear was fine, and the bass gear I think was fine too. But actually most of the gears were fine in it. It just had a really messed up cord from the get-go, and it had a snapped lever, so it would have done everything. I mean, it did do everything. When you pulled the cord in a million different spots, it did actually start doing everything it was supposed to do, except it danced retarded because it had a snapped arm and a snapped lever. Wait, no. This one didn't have a snapped lever, actually. It just popped out of place, so it actually, on the transportation here, somehow it ended up fixing itself. Like, the lever, I did hear a popping sound when I was pulling the stuff out of the box, and I think that's probably what that was. The lever popped itself back into place, so I was like, alright, I'm fine with that. But obviously when I took it apart, I washed the skin and the base because holy shit. If you guys saw, you guys probably did see, I think I did get some footage of it, how dirty this thing was. Like, this penguin was the worst condition of all of the characters. It was so bad. The filth that was all over it was just, I didn't even want to touch it. It had this like really tacky feeling, and I just hated it. So I threw it in the wash immediately, and it came out beautifully. It looks just like the other one. It works better than the other one, actually, because it has both the original arm pieces. This one, the right one, the arm piece, one of the arm pieces is actually substituted for me just bending the actual metal arm to basically become its own arm piece. So it's a really interesting way of doing it. I should have gotten some like photos or videos on how I did that without using the plastic. But it did work. It moves, and I've actually done it. I did it on the my blue reindeer too, I believe, has that too, and it, as you guys saw, it worked great. So that trick does work, and I need to show how to do that at some point if these ever break again. But that penguin over there, I had to replace the arm piece. That was basically the only thing that really needed replaced. I just had to unlock the mouth motor, and it was good to go mechanically after the big ass cleaning I did on it. And then I mean, that was really it. Once it was cleaned, I airbrushed the cheeks back on, and it looked great. So that's basically all I gotta say about the penguins. So enough of me talking. I guess we'll get to the final two activations of it.
Well, the night before Christmas, and I'll do the house. Now the creature was scary. You run a mile, well, the children will care. I want to say English, who would be there? Children running, but I'll plug in their legs. Well, visions of smoke run, damped in their head. And Mama in her kerchief, and I'm my cat.
that's not going.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, ain't gonna live his way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm gonna say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now you dear old man, whisper what you'll bring to me. Tell me if you can. When the clock is striking 12, when I'm fast asleep, down the chimney, broad and black, with your pack, your creed. All the stockings you will find hanging in a row. Mine will be the shortest one. You'll be sure to know.
Well, I guess we're at the end of the road here. I actually got lucky that my penguin over there, the wires didn't pull off of the base, because for some reason they really like to do that. That was another problem I had with this one, was that the wires kept pulling off from inside the base. But I think I got it officially fixed. Hopefully I don't have any more issues with it, but if I do, obviously I'll just open it up and fix the wires. And I'll try to actually fix them in a way where they'll permanently stay. I'm not sure. It's because they're shorter, I'm pretty sure. Wait, no, my blue one was the one with the shorter wires. I don't know why. This one's wires are extended, yet they keep tearing off. So if they do again, then I'll go in and try to troubleshoot the issue. But for now, it's working fine, so that's all that matters to me. But I guess that concludes the official review over the Gemmy animated lifelike 3-piece band from 2005. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, this restoration and review, and thank you guys for watching.